Good morning, and here we are in Doha, Qatar. Beautiful, cool, misty morning in the Gulf. And apparently the mist is a bit of a feature of the early mornings here. There you can see the enormous skyscrapers of the Doha downtown area. And we're just going to wander around this old port district this morning. It's all been laid out with beautiful parks and places to walk and just to watch the sunrise and sunset. So let's just walk together. I know this is going to sound really pretentious, but as I said that, I thought of the poetry of Antonio Machado, the Spanish poet who wrote a whole book about poems of walking after his wife died. He walked and walked and walked, and there he found his thoughts, there he found his poetry. It's actually very cool here at this time of year. I was surprised. I didn't really do any research before getting here quite late last night. Travel sometimes is as much about what you're leaving behind as about where you're going. That was the case yesterday. I was leaving quite a lot behind in England and got here just so tired that exploring really wasn't part of the agenda. But this morning it is. This area that I'm going to explore is called the Mina District, and it was redeveloped for the World Cup in 2022. And super touristy, but why not? A, it's beautiful, and B, it's just a great example of regeneration. So this area is the old port, and what they've done is they've redeveloped it into a mixture of cruise terminals, tourist attraction, and a residential district. So one thing that's really interesting is human ingenuity, and I know that a touristy region of a city that some people take issue with might not be most people's idea of human ingenuity. But what do? You've got an old port area where nobody goes. Have a closer look at these boats over here, because you can see dhows, traditional boats, no doubt for tourists, these ones, and then you've got this enormous cruise ship backlit by this wonderful sunrise over the Gulf. And look at the light. This is why we've come, just to look at this amazing light. It's not disappointing. Look at those pinks, look at this dawn through the mist. What a beautiful day. Seagulls enjoying the morning. I think we've just spotted the sunrise, just coming over here. There, in the mist, that is the blazing sun which is going to rise up over the sea. It's amazing how cool it is. The sea is just so many colours of blues and yellows and golds. But there it is, the whole sun is just lifted up out of the mist, and we can see the perfect disk. Good morning, world. What a beautiful day. There we are, sunrise over the Arabian Gulf. Just got chills actually, it's just such a beautiful day, and it's terribly peaceful. There are a few men working here, you can probably hear their voices. They're fixing the boardwalk, doing their morning work before everybody comes. And now I've got to keep moving and actually make some tracks because I've got a plane to catch. I hope that was worth it. I've loved it. It was so beautiful to see that moment of the sun actually rising. Oh, there's a shop open over here. It's awfully early. Or do they just leave them out overnight? They can't do. That is amazing. Actually, they do. Look at that. People were saying to me last night, a few things I asked. Can you open the bottle of water at my table so I know it's not just refilled from the tap? You say, oh, that would be illegal. And people keep saying things like that to me. And today, when I asked, is it safe to come and walk out in the darkness here on my own, the man at the hotel said, it is very strict here. There are cameras everywhere. And the security, he said, security everywhere. It says open, but it's very much not open. There's no one there. And so look, all of these things have been left outside the tourist shops on the street. Amazing. Look at all that stuff there. Even tiny little things. Look at this. Which way shall we go? There's one little alley this way, and over here, this is the other choice of route. I think that's the main drag, but I feel that we might go that way. There are more and more layers of these pastel buildings coming up in the distance there. So now we're down by the pool. Look at that beautiful water here. It actually is an inlet from the Gulf, so it is seawater. I don't know if it's an actual pool for swimming in. They're authorised personnel only. It's clearly not a pool. I hope that whatever you're doing today, if anyone ever watches this, that you have a beautiful day. And here's the fish market. And then we can just walk up through the next bit of this neighbourhood. This mural of a bird flying free from its cage. That's a nice one for today. For the sunrise and the bird flying free. And these sculptures all over the place. Art installation by Bashir Mohammed. And there are these wonderful sky sculptures as well. I just don't know how else to put it. A textile overhead made of lots and lots and lots of tiny little squares. Decorations, shades, but they are part of the actual look of the place. And you can see there are lots of very nice and individual benches around here. Here we are, we've got security wandering through the streets. Oh, look at this mural. Little ice cream stand, rather quiet this morning. And what's in here? Oh, look. Wow. You can see the sun is right up now. And it's just a little veranda overlooking the sea. How beautiful. Look at the light. Okay, so heading on back through here, I've actually got to start walking quite fast or I'm going to miss my plane. So I just need to walk down through here and hopefully find a taxi that can take me to the airport. This is such a pretty way to start the day. There are these little pigeons, but I think they look more like doves. Hello, little dove. Good morning. Here's its mate. Oh, you are. Little restaurants with colourful chairs. That's a funny mural up there. Art is such a uniting thing, isn't it? You come to a place and you don't really know or understand the culture. It's so different from the culture that you know. Yet there are these pictures and paintings everywhere that just show that we're all one, really. People are the same. We might have different cultures and different approaches and different religions, but we're all the same. Lots and lots of touristy shops. This must be heaving later in the day, and it's been such a joy, really, and a privilege just to walk here with just very, very few people doing the same thing, just seeing it at dawn for the colours and the street, and the workers, of course, who are here just getting everything set up. Look at the detail here, how they've painted the edge of the steps. Not just they've painted the edge of the steps, but they've painted each step in a different shade of purple. Okay, and now we're just going to come out at the bottom here and briefly look at a second section of the Mina area. These are very colourful shipping containers that have been set up as buildings, offices, and they're there in the distance. I'm not going to have time to walk around them today because I'm just coming down to the roundabout where I've got to try to catch a taxi to the airport. But that's another innovation that they did in this district to tie it in with the history of the area being the old port of Doha, that they use these shipping containers in this creative and decorative way. And that, over there now, I think, is the way I have to go to leave here. So somebody's going to get me a taxi and I'll just take the opportunity to look back up the street that we've just come down and say goodbye to this beautiful district. I was pontificating or reflecting really yesterday about journeys being as much about what you leave behind as where you are and where you're going. Walking in this district sort of symbolises that. It's been created for the future. In the present it's quite, some people might call it tacky. The future will wear it down into something much more lived in. And in the past it was the old port, probably full of dhows, fishing boats. And now it's got little golf carts with security officers tootling about. And in the afternoons and evenings, no doubt, absolutely full of tourists. So that's the past, present and the future. My past, present and future now. I don't know my future, but right now I'm going to get into a taxi and go to the airport. Thank you for walking with me, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.